some of you know what JAMstack is. If you know, can you raise your hand? Okay. And static site generation? No. Okay, so this is something new. That's nice. So agenda of the talk. We'll start with what is JAMstack, why JAMstack exists, and where are the good use cases for it. What are popular tools to implement this approach, and we'll do a demo, live coding. That always works. So we start with this acronym JAM. So what is it? It's JavaScript, it's APIs and markup, and it's not one technology. It's not even a specific technologies. It's a new way of building web apps and applications. You can find out more at jamstack.org. There are many useful information, but you will also find out more in this talk and more also useful websites. So we'll start with why Jamstack. So first of all, performance and scaling. So right now it's very important that a website works really fast. So Jamstack provides it. Updates and portability. So Jamstack allows you to much more easily update your source code of the page, and it allows you also more easily to move between different providers. You can also have you have also much better developer experience because it's closer to app development than to building just assets that are then pushed to CMS and then processed in there. So it's much closer to the developer, and it has higher security. So it's really it's not possible to hack it basically because it bases on the statically generated files, and it's much cheaper to run because you don't need expensive hosting options to scale it up. Okay, so why is it? Why are we making the site, or what is important in making site? The most important thing is conversions in websites. So there are proofs that the faster the website is, the higher conversion rate is. This is why e-commerce and everyone at the moment are crazy about faster page load, because users really don't convert that well if they have to wait. So users want to see the page quickly, and if they see that it's quickly, they are more likely to do the conversion. A very good example of it is at scale is a founding platform for Obama. It's a really nice use case. It's well described. So we know how much they raised money. So it was a lot. They also had a lot of donations, so millions of over 4 million of donations, and they had 81.5 million page views, so also a lot, and almost 18 unique visitors. And the website that was developed for that year elections, it was much faster than the previous platform. Of course, it also had a lot of significant mobile traffic, so it was important to address that audience. From the technical point of view, making this site to allow it to scale required to go with certain technologies. First of all, static HTML websites. It was generated with Jekyll, so there was no backend. It was just HTML that was pushed to server on Amazon S3. It was version controlled with GitHub, so no magic behind it. There was over 1,000 front-end deploys, so you can see that it was not like it was done and then nothing happened. So there was a process during beginning. I know it was around half a year from start to end of this project. So during the time, quite a lot of deployments. And some JavaScript was involved there as well for 1,000 lines of code, not much, but also the site is not really big. So it's just a website that you can pick a number and donate, so not much. Still, it was really important to optimize the conversions day. So they had to run a lot of a lot of A/B tests, and they managed to increase during the period of development, increase the conversion rates. So you can see that it's not only about deploying the website or running it fast, but it's also about the development process and doing the improvements on that. Another really good example of migration to JAMstack was Smashing Magazine. They got really nice result because they got 10 times faster website from their previous solution. They moved from WordPress to JAMstack, specifically Hugo as a static site generator. They moved the content editing to open source Git-based Netlify CMS. So their content is basically in the markup files in Markdown. And to keep with all the interactivity, because there was a lot of other applications involved there, especially e-commerce, they used external APIs. So they used Angolia for search, Cloudinary for images. They used also for comments, and for e-commerce they moved to solutions provided by Netlify. So overall, it was really a good result for them, and it definitely simplified their stack. Because before that, they not only had WordPress, but they also had the Rails app and another app for job board. So there was quite a lot. By going to this solution with static site and external APIs, they managed to make it much more simpler and much faster, which translated to conversions and better SEO results. You can find out more at this link. Okay, so now we know how who is using JAMstack and for what cases. It can be small sites and big sites. So now let's take a look how to start with it. So first of all, we need a static site generator. We also need some content management, either Git-based or API-based, or a mixture. Uh, we need a deployment automation. This actually, it's not nice that developer has to deploy code, so it's good to have it automated. And we probably also need some other APIs. So let's look at first problem. So there's a site staticgen.com where there's a really good list of the JAMstack site generators. So this is the top 5 from most popular by GitHub stars. So number 1 is Jekyll in Ruby. It's not the fastest, but the most popular. The second most popular is Hugo, which is very fast. It's written in Go. And then the third and fourth and fifth position is belongs to JavaScript solutions. Next, which is based on Express and React. There's also a Vue version of Next. And Hexo, which is more like traditional Express based. And Gatsby, which is gaining most of interest recently. It's based on the GraphQL. So it uses GraphQL syntax to fetch the data also from the local files, but also for external from external solutions. And I think within last week they got a financing from venture capital to develop Gatsby even more. So expect to rise it. And our today example will be also in Gatsby. And on next meetup, it's very likely that we'll host a speaker who will speak about Gatsby. So this is like the top, one of the most popular solutions that you can try at the moment. But there are also others. I personally like very much React Static. It's very simple. Anything is good. They all work very similar. Second thing that you need is a content management system from JAMstack. There is again a website, headlesscms.org, which provides a really nice list. So when it comes to Git-based solutions, the simplest one is, of course, to use your IDE or just GitHub edit button. So if you need to change something, you just go to the GitHub or you browse the files and you can change the content there, either if it's in Markdown or even if it's in the markup, the template. It's not a problem. You can still change it and easily modify. Second solution is Netlify CMS. So it integrates into a GitHub repository, and it allows you to edit Markdown files located in specific a specific folder. So anyone can go to your site /admin, and if he can log in, can edit the contents, and those contents are then committed to the site, and the automatic build propagates this change and deploy it. Second way to do it is to use API driven. So the most popular is Contentful. It's a really highly used solution that provides a CMS with nice REST API. There's also a European startup Graph CMS, which is based on Prisma. Prisma is a very popular GraphQL solution for Node, and they build on top of it a platform to work specifically with the content management systems. And it's also quite cheap and interesting solution. Of course, the way it works is that there's a hook. So every time you make some change, this hook executes and makes a commit or triggers the regeneration of your website. On the Git-based solution, it's automated because the deployment solution can be hooked there. When it comes to deployment automation, the deployment in general, the most popular is I think Netlify still. This is it has like 150,000 users already, and we will show a demo later. Basically, you just hook a repository into it, and every time you make a change, it will run a certain script to build it, and the static website will be updated on their servers. On top of that, it will be distributed around the world. They have SSL certificate support. Actually, all of those solutions here have it. And also some other goodies that I will maybe talk later with the APIs. GitHub Pages, it's a very simple solution, especially software open source projects, and they host most of the example code on GitHub Pages. So often those pages are also generated by a static site generation tool. And there's Zate, which is also a hosting solution. They all provide SSL, so it's secure and easy to use. Other APIs, of course, our site cannot live with other APIs. The first thing that comes to your mind is probably assets. So there are solutions for handling it. It's mainly about collecting them, serving them fast, and allowing to modify them. Forms, this is the second thing. If you run a website, you probably run it for some reason, probably to make a conversion or collect some data. So you need forms for that. Netlify, the deployment solution, provides a built-in solution for this with forms. It's really simple. And there are also external solutions like Wufoo, Typeform, and Google Forms. Search, you can have a search from Google or a couple other providers. Comments, discuss is really popular. It actually it's like a small social media solution, I would say. I get a digest from them where I comment or what comments might interest me. So it's nice. And of course, Facebook. Facebook for some sites, it might be much better solution because it allows much better to propagate the message that the user interaction. And finally, e-commerce. So if we have very fast website, we can very easily also connect shopping cart solutions to it, and it doesn't have to be like a huge PHP solution or anything like that. It can be something small, and we can connect just the cart solution, because after all, cart is not that big. You just need to mark what you want, put it into the basket, and then check out. Finally, we might want to execute some other code because we don't have server. So the serverless solutions like Amazon Lambda provides us option to do any other solutions, including custom workflows. You can find out more at this website. It actually lists lots of other aspects, so check it out. Okay, pros and cons of this solution, JAMstack. First, it's simple, fast, and reliable, so it's really hard to break it because the JAMstack produces the HTML in the end. It allows you to use modern front-end development tool, so you can use actually whatever front-end framework to build it. I work, for example, with React solution, so I'm able to write the whole static generator inside the front-end framework React, so it's nice. And it also allows to easily integrate with designers, so designers can work precisely on the same code base, and it can be deployed the same way as any other project. It's very developer friendly in that way. Also developer friendly because it's more predictable, so the content is much better structured. So you know that developers have more control over how the markup files will be transformed into website, so they can better handle like mobile traffic and fancy UI solutions. Also, it's better for versioning because everything is in Git. So if you want to go back in time and have a previous version of the website, or if you want to check out what has changed in the last weeks, for example, on website, is it actually correct? You can check out with Git. And also, if you work with a team, so you can use the Git to merge the code. So someone can work on a branch, can work on certain feature, and once it's done, it can be, for example, deployed from that branch to certain domain, or it can be merged to master, and then other changes are merged together. So it really helps to work also with bigger sites or with very active development. And it's minimal sysadmin, so you don't have to take care about fancy caching, because it's true you can make even any site like a static, but you can't have like with WordPress all of it. You can have for example a caching solution, but you cannot have like a development friendly solution that's harder, and you don't have versioning, and it's always very simple. The cons are you have pretty much basic control over the content editing, especially that it's usually GitHub repo, unless you are using like Contentful. That there you can have more access, but still in general it's usually less control. And again, it's a little bit not so friendly for non-technical authoring, because on the other hand, it can be simpler, but it depends how you exactly structure it. But overall, it's no more I define everything on myself. No, you need to take into account a certain structure of the content and follow some rules, which I think can be also considered a pro. Okay, so maybe I will do now a small demo. how this whole thing works. So I have prepared here a link to a demo site, so you can see it. It's a really simple site with a couple of articles, so you can see the content. There's some support for tags. You can also see some site with products and a little bit more complicated structure. It works really fast, so when I move between pages, it's super fast. When I reload it, I don't even see when it reloaded. It happened so fast. Now, if there are any questions, it's a good time to ask it. Is anyone interested in trying it out after watching it? Okay, cool. So someone will try. Good. So thank you.